Raider Nation, interact with me down in the comments section because the main reason why I made this video is to answer the question, who's going to have the bigger impact for the Las Vegas Raiders? Is it going to be rookie tight end Michael Mayer or Austin Hooper? What I want you to do, if you think it's Mayer, type 87. If you think it's going to be Hooper, type 82. And you know what? This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show, so I want every single person that comes across this video to answer this question. And coming up here on today's show, I'm going to give you my answer. Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and it's Mitchell Renz from Chat Sports. And today's show is presented by Roan. If you like the dress shirt that I got on, or if you forgot a gift for Dad for Father's Day, I recommend going to roan.com/chatsports for 20% off your entire order. So coming up here today, we're going to be looking at some numbers around Austin Hooper. We're going to look at some projections for Michael Mayer, and we're going to look at some past offenses run by Jimmy Garoppolo, run by Josh McDaniels, and figure out what type of impact both of these players are going to have for this offense this upcoming season. One of the things that I discuss a lot, you hear people also talk about with Josh McDaniels' offenses in the past, they use two tight end sets, and it goes back from their Rob Gronkowski, Aaron Hernandez days, but I know what I have right now up on screen in terms of a Raiders tight end depth chart. I really just put this there because you're going to see a lot of snaps between both Hooper and Mayer. Hooper is the veteran, and he's a really solid player who has had some ups and he's had some downs. I go back and I look at a lot of the solid years that he had with the Atlanta Falcons. Then he got lost a little bit with the Cleveland Browns. This past season with the Titans, 41 grabs for 444 yards and 2 touchdowns. And just because the Raiders drafted Mayer, that doesn't mean that they don't like Cooper. They don't like Cooper. They do actually like him a lot, and he's going to be a big part of this offense. But for the Raiders, they had Mayer as a top 10 prospect in the 2023 NFL Draft. So when he fell to the second round, they were like, oh, wow, that's really good value. We're going to go and we're going to trade up and get them. And when you talk about Mayer, when you look at Hooper, I would say it's more of a tight end 1A, tight end 1B type of situation. They are going to command respect both in the passing game and their ability to be used in the run blocking game, to be solid pass blockers out there as well. And then sure, you can sprinkle in a little bit of O.J. Howard on top of that, and shout out to Chugs for adjusting it on the fly, but that's just the truth. You're going to see a lot of two tight end sets. You are going to see Jimmy Garoppolo use both of these players like he has his entire career. So coming up here on the Raiders Report, I'm going to be predicting the stats around Austin Hooper, and I'm going to be predicting the stats around Michael Mayer, and then I'm going to tell you which player is going to have a bigger impact for the Raiders, and also break down what type of impact Hooper is going to have, what type of impact Mayer is going to have. And for the 2 or 3 Raider fans who are like, but what about O.J. Howard? Don't worry, we'll have his stat predictions as well. But I would not been able to do today's show, would not been able to turn all these lights on, and probably wouldn't be able to turn on my fiance either if it wasn't for our awesome sponsor, Roan. Head on over to roan.com/chatsports for 20% off your order. And I want you to listen up very clear because I'm always trying to make you guys look better. Roan helps you get ready for any occasion with the Commuter Collection, which offers the world's most comfortable pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, and polos. You never have to worry about what to wear when you have the Roan Commuter Collection. Looking good is easy. It's time to feel confident with a wrinkle-free shirt without the hassle. With Roan's wrinkle release technology, wrinkles disappear as soon as you stretch and wear the shirt. It's really that easy. The Commuter Collection can get you through any workday and straight into whatever comes next. Head to roan.com/chatsports and use promo code chatsports to save 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you head to RHONE.com/chatsports and use code chatsports. It's time to find your corner office of comfort. The thing that I really don't think I can even tell you how amazing these shirts are, it's the wrinkle technology. One of my favorite things is I wish I could get one of these t-shirts for Alex because she is the queen of like, I'll be ready in 15 minutes. Sure you will be. The reason why I love these is because she says 15 minutes, and I know in 15 minutes I don't have to do any ironing. I don't have to worry about anything. It's super simplistic. I can literally just put the shirt on. I'm ready to go, and it's probably one of the reasons why I'm also always ready before she is. Head on over to roan.com/chatsports, and thanks for them for sponsoring today's show. Let's now get into the part of if you're going to look at numbers and you're going to try to predict numbers. I am a big fan of taking a large sample size and taking the sample size from multiple spots. So the first thing that we're going to look at here is Jimmy Garoppolo and his last full season. He started 15 games, which for Jimmy, that's about as good as it gets. And in 2021, he had a 68.3% completion percentage, 3,810 yards, 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. His top 5 wide receivers that season for San Francisco, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle. One thing that I really want you guys to look at when you look at a lot of these numbers here are the tight ends. So Kittle is the only tight end that ended up making this list here for 49er stat leaders. And here's the thing. I like Hooper. I like Michael Mayer. Neither of them are on the same level as a George Kittle, though I do think Mayer's upside is very baby Gronkish / like a Mark Andrews, has the ability to be a top 3 tight end overall. So since all the tight ends weren't quite featured, how about the numbers combined? When you take all the numbers from all the 49ers tight ends in 2021, it comes out to 105 targets, 80 receptions, 1,013 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Well, how about this? Let's now go to 2019 with Jimmy Garoppolo's best season that he's ever had, where he had a 69.1% completion percentage, 3,978 yards, 27 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. And guess who again? His top receiving option back in 2019 was tight end George Kittle with over 1,000 yards, 85 grabs. Then it's Deebo, Emmanuel Sanders, Kendrick Bourne, Tevin Coleman. The tight end room for this season back in 2019 combined for 122 targets, 102 catches, 1,154 yards, and 7 touchdowns. I'll be honest, every situation, every offense is a lot different. Kyle Shanahan, he runs his offenses a lot different than what McDaniels does. But the one thing that I like to look at when I really consider stat projections, especially back in my fantasy football days, it's targets. Because targets are opportunities. So we will hint at and we will look at all the target numbers from multiple offenses. But hey, let's look at the Raiders situation last season. The Raiders quarterbacks and what they combined for, because guess what? Josh McDaniels, same offensive coordinator, same head coach, is here with the Las Vegas Raiders. 4,178 yards, 28 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. The completion percentage is 61.4. The top 6 Raiders receiving leaders, 2 of them were tight ends. And we know if Darren Waller would have been healthier, he would have been a lot higher on this list. But considering the fact that you got a Devontae Adams, they're going to replace Matt Collins with Jacoby Myers. Jacobs is still on the roster. Renfro's still on the roster. I don't think it's totally crazy to think that both Austin Hooper and Michael Mayer can be in that top 6 just like you saw last season. So the Raiders tight ends, they combined for 101 targets, 64 grabs, 827 yards, and 4 touchdowns last season. So we looked at Jimmy G. We looked at Garoppolo's numbers in 2021, 2019. We looked at the Raiders' numbers. I think the only other thing that we really have to look at is, well, let's go back to 2021. Another sample size with the offense that McDaniels ran. And the reason why I really wanted to look at this season is because in the offseason, during free agency, this team went out and got Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. They wanted to run a 2 tight end set. And I think that's an offense very similar to what the Raiders could potentially run this season. And in 2021, they had Mac Jones, and guess who? They also had Brian Hoyer. They combined for a completion percentage of 67.9, 23 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, over 4,000 yards. The Patriots' top receivers that season, Jacoby Myers. Guess what? He's with us. You see Hunter Henry right on here. And then you had the other guy, Jonnu Smith, who they both signed for $12.5 million. It's just Smith had a lot more injuries. However, they really targeted Hunter Henry in the red zone, which is kind of the role that I forecast seeing for a player like Michael Mayer. So we went through multiple different options, but I still want to show you what the Patriots tight ends did that season. 120 targets, 78 grabs, 897 yards, and 10 touchdowns. So when you look at the 49ers tight end room from 2019 to 2021, the Patriots tight end room in 2021. Then you combine that with the Raiders tight end room in 2022. The average comes out to 112 targets, 81 receptions for 973 yards and 7 touchdowns. If you want my God honest opinion, if you said, okay, Mitch, what season do you think is the closest to what the Raiders could potentially do this year with their 2 tight ends? I'll probably say the closest would have been 2021 Niners, and you can combine that with 2021 New England. But what I thought I would do here, and from a numbers standpoint, is I'm going to take these averages, and I'm going to try to do my best to show you what the numbers would be for Austin Hooper, what they would be for Michael Mayer, what they would be for O.J. Howard, because I see the silver and black keeping 3 tight ends on their 53-man roster. And Jesper Horsted's a solid player. Cole Fotheringham, Snedeker, best of luck to all of those dudes. But the Raiders are going to keep their top 3 players at tight end, and those 3 players are pictured. Before I show you my exact stack predictions, for those that have been following along with our Chat Sports subs battle in June, I want to keep the lead. We are getting very, very close to the end of the month, and it is by no means a win for Raider Nation. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Turn on those notifications because we need to win the subs battle here in the month of June. All right, let's finally get into these tight end stat predictions. So based on the averages, you got 112 targets, 81 grabs, 973 yards, 7 touchdowns. The way that I broke that down is with Hooper with 53 targets. The 40 catches aligns very well with his 72% catch rate, which aligns very well with his 10.8 receiving yards per reception, and then 2 touchdowns. He hasn't really been much of a touchdown player. And then you got Mayer, 46 targets, 34 grabs. I bumped up his numbers a little bit because he's more of a playmaker than Hooper with the balls or yards after the catch. 4 touchdowns, a little bit more. And then O.J. Howard, his numbers as well. He's a career 14.5 yards per catch type of receiver. He'll find himself in the end zone one time, and I do think he's going to get 7 grabs. These are my stat predictions for Austin Hooper, Michael Mayer, and O.J. Howard this upcoming season. However, I said I would ask you, and I'm going to also give my answer because that's what this show here is all about. The bigger impact, is it Mayer? Is it Hooper? 87, 82. Let me know what you're thinking down in the comments. The reason that you could make the argument that it's for Hooper, if you play fantasy football, you're in a PPR league, you probably want to draft Hooper over Mayer. And I do think that Hooper is going to see more targets in 2023. And I know a lot of people are like, well, they call Michael Mayer baby Gronk, and he's going to go out and he's going to have this incredible season. Y'all got to realize, first-year tight ends don't always break out the way that people anticipate that they're really going to have a crazy season. I mean, Gronk saw only 59 targets as a rookie. As much as I like Mayer, he's not as good right now as Rob Gronkowski. He also doesn't have Tom Brady throwing him the rock. And I know that the Raiders like Hooper's ability to catch the football. They're going to use his veteranship to be able to pick up those first downs, be able to pick up that clutch situations. And when it really comes down to it, I do think that Hooper will see more opportunities in the receiving game. However, though, it's when you talk about impact, it's not just catching the football, especially being a tight end in the National Football League. It's how do you do with your hand in the dirt. And Mayer is a better blocker than Hooper. That's going to get him on the field. And due to that blocking ability and due to his ability just to be the all-around better tight end, because that's what he is, he's going to see more snaps than Hooper. And he's also going to have a much bigger role in the red zone. So overall, the bigger impact will be the rookie out of Notre Dame, Mayer. When I say bigger impact, though, I'm talking about splitting hairs here. He's going to have the bigger impact in terms of red zone, snaps, and helping this team run the football. But Austin Hooper's going to have more receptions. He's going to have more targets, and he's going to have more receiving yards. If anything, sounds like a bigger issue for a defensive coordinator going up against both Mayer and Hooper. So if I gave you my predictions on both of these players, if you get a second, hey, I would appreciate it if you gave me your prediction for both Michael Mayer and Austin Hooper. Give me targets, reception, yards, touchdowns. If you want more analysis around the Raiders, more news, I cover it all for you guys on social media. I'm at Mitchell Renz 365, and if you made it this far in the video, we got to be doing something right here. Let's give some shout-outs to some of the new subscribers here. in the month of June, because if we're going to keep on pounding away at this Chat Sports race, I want to show y'all how much I greatly appreciate people that take time out of their day to hit that subscribe button. So Daniel, LaParacha, Diego, Robert, and Jack JK, thanks for joining the family here on our awesome YouTube channel. If you could do me a favor, though, take that link, and I want you to send it to 5 Raider fans. I want to get to 138,000 subs by the end of June.